three. Game on the line. Williams lofting one for a doozy. He caught
it! You're listening to the world's #1 football podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Ben Hanson, Matt Hartman, and Ryan Matthews.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Pigskin Project YouTube. I am Matt, joined today with Ben. Few weeks late, but again, we're going to talk NFL schedule release, if that teases anybody. But before we get into anything NFL related, we'll kind of bounce around. Ben, how are you?
No, I'm doing great. Excited for next week's show. So hopefully next week's show, post June 1st, it's when a lot of these different moves are going to happen. We'll actually have some stuff to get into. I am doing great, but the big thing, Matt, how are you feeling? Are we feeling nervous? I mean, I know people can't see it, but there's a banner over your right shoulder, our viewer's left shoulder there. How are we feeling? Are we sweating?
No, I've been having a fun time with this series, to be honest. I think there's been, it's the internet is not, I guess, in a way. But every game has felt different in a sense.
Yeah.
But if you can't see, Oklahoma City. So again,
there it is.
I'm evil. I am the bad guy. There's just something about if we get an NBA Finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New York Knicks, the New York Knicks are the scrappy underdogs, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have the back-to-back MVP and are going for back-to-back titles, and they're the villain of the basketball world. So I think that's pretty funny, but overall, I mean, the NBA playoffs have been great, I think.
Oh yeah,
but
no. Good for you, maybe. All right, not
you
for
guys won a
Sixers fan.
series. Get out of here.
Hey, not for someone who likes watching ethical basketball, buddy. All right,
It's true. There are times it is pretty goofy, but it's one of those things you kind of gotta embrace the hate a little bit here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm good with it. When gambling companies are getting cease and desists for fake out. Did you see that from Underdog? It was a fake operation game.
What?
About
yeah.
It was going around.
With Rivers.
Yeah. So, but that's enough sports talk. Let's get into football talk.
Yeah.
There was some moves around little extensions here and there. I think it would be remiss if we didn't mention Matthew Stafford got a massive pay bump of another 1-year extension for $55 million. Pretty much fully guaranteed with the Rams. You know why it's important? They drafted a quarterback in the first round at pick 13. But I don't think that one needs too much talking, but it happened. And then Derwin James got a massive extension. Nico Collins got an additional salary, which I always expected.
Guaranteed.
Did you know he's in the 20s of receiver rankings
he's not making
for
a whole
money.
lot of money.
He's very low. There's still no Chris Olave extension. Heartbreaking for me. And then the only Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this one's kind of dated, but Aaron Rodgers came back, said he's doing it again, and he's doing it for one more time. So, I don't know. That it's weird for me because it's he's the last of that old guard, where once he retires, and even Stafford to a degree, Dak is our longest tenured quarterback. You think about that? That's what's crazy to think about, where we're at. And so Dak came in 2016. I remember watching him vividly at Mississippi State. So there is this world where it's a full generation of quarterbacks have passed through for me. So there was still a little bit of mystery for me, but anything on what I mentioned or anything I missed that you want to mention?
No, I think you covered it. Um,
I have one more. once you
I do you think like Aaron Rodgers coming out saying like this is my last year does anything for the Steelers at all? Or do you just think they're just gonna be like at the status quo, we're gonna win 9 games and try to sneak into the playoffs? Or do you think it's like, okay, maybe we should try to go one way or the other this year and not be, a 9-10 win team?
I don't think it does too much from making like decision making part if that's what you're asking. Like I don't think they're gonna be like all of a sudden trying to trade for Max Crosby, you know. But I mean, their roster is good again, right? McCarthy is kind of the offensive Tomlin, so there isn't too much of like an overlap. There isn't a lot of mystery with Mike McCarthy and even Aaron Rodgers, like in his offense. But I think it's just like what was their alternative? You know, they had alternatives in March and clearly didn't want to explore those.
Mm-hmm.
And but there weren't that many alternatives. It was like Malik Willis and a bunch of I don't know. Yeah, like it's
now
so
it's Drew
again-
Aller, so
Yeah,
which
and-
everything coming out from him is like really fun because it's like we're basically having to teach this guy how to play quarterback, which is like as like me and
which
you,
is what
I mean,
we
I just-
said. Like,
yeah,
dude, like
but,
that's
like-
kind of the thought of him.
yeah. It's just fun to hear someone actually like come out and say that. But
Yeah, an NFL quarterback room is this, like a quarterback's coach is like everything you learned was not good enough. Everything you did was not good enough. But we see the potential. That's kind of my point when he got drafted. But all right, so we will get into the schedule preview part of this. I don't know how long this is going to go.
well, do we want to do the Sorsby thing really quickly?
Yeah, okay. We could do the Brendan Sorsby thing.
Yeah, let's do that. So, for those not up to date at this point, Brendan Sorsby started out at IU. This is important for a reason. That then goes to Cincinnati, balls out. Was toying with the idea. Maybe I come into the draft this year. Maybe I stay in college. Well, he decided to stay in college. He got the bag from Oil Money Texas Tech. And then it came out I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks after he signed. It's like, oh, just kidding. This guy is like a crippling gambling addiction where he just like gambles on like everything. He was gambling obviously on like his own games.
Yeah.
He was gambling
that was
on
the most
like,
important one.
yeah, he was gambling on everything. But again, most importantly was he was gambling on his own games, especially when he was at IU. And he said it made him feel more connected or something. He then had checked into gambling rehab and hired a lawyer to try to retain his eligibility because obviously you're not allowed to gamble on your own team. And it came out, I think it was either yesterday or the day prior that the NCAA had a hearing and they're like, nope, we don't care that you went to your rehab and tried to solve this issue. You are still not eligible to play. This now throws him up in the air. Is he going to try to push further? Is he going to go to the supplemental draft? I don't know.
So, Texas Tech has made an announcement that they're going to appeal the decision. Again, I mean, that's because they want to get return on their investment and they want to be able to have a top 5 transfer quarterback. And you can't get a top 5 transfer quarterback anymore. You can't get Nico Iamaleava anymore because the spring portal's gone and the coaches voted on this. So this is what you're kind of dealt, right? And so from the Tech side, it's interesting because I think I don't know if there's a lot of woe is Texas Tech just in the sense of like, well, they kind of are the new, like, just throw money at everybody and we'll get what we want. Like, and so it's like, you guys didn't do any background information. Like, you didn't go you didn't dig deep into this at all. Which again, my rebuttal to that is like, how? How do you do that? You know, how do you just gonna every kid like show me your phone? You know, and even
Yeah.
then, like, well, guess what I can do on my phone? I can delete apps, right? But for the most part, I think from his side to get ahead of it and make it this like very like woe is me, you know, like this I wanted to feel part of the team and this and that. Like he was underage in other states doing this and doing it on games that he actively is a part of and getting redshirted for. So it's like, again, maybe I think he's just a bad gambler. That's my bad joke, but like 2022 Indiana was not the team to be putting money line
Not
bets
the
on.
team
But just overall, I think this is a very hairy situation, and I think the NCAA has literally no choice to, you know, declare him what they said was permanently ineligible. That was the wording. And if they ever let him play, whether it's 6-game suspension, 8-game, whatever, you can't do it. You have to.
You can't.
stay.
You can't. It's become such a big issue. You cannot let him play another down of college athletics. If he wants to try out for the men's golf team, he shouldn't be allowed to do it. Like it's just like across the board, he shouldn't be allowed to play college sports. But that then kicks us into like the supplemental draft of it all.
Yep.
The supplemental draft hasn't happened since 2019. Jalen Thompson. Those unfamiliar very quickly teams. It's like a blind bid situation. A team says, you know, we will give a 3rd round pick, but we don't know what, you know, the Saints are going to bid or so on and so forth. And then it goes to the team that had the highest capital
Yep.
that gave up gets the player. This gets into my next point. Like if you're a quarterback needy team, what is the risk versus reward here? Because for me, like on one hand, you're saying like this guy, like if he came out in this draft, there's a real chance that he could have been a 1st round pick. Like
Yes.
when this whole process started, people were like, oh, he could be a top 10, top 15 pick. So like he's a genuinely good prospect. But on the flip side of this, gambling has become such a problem in professional sports. Unless your name is, you know, Shohei Ohtani, it's become a very, very big issue. And you know, frowned upon, like FBI is getting involved on this. It is a huge issue. So if you're a team, where does the risk versus reward lie? Because you can say, shoot, I can get this great player for possibly a 3rd, you know, round pick in the supplemental draft, but is it going to be worth the firestorm that comes along with this all? And is it just this, or is there more that has to uncover? Where does the risk versus reward lay for you? If let's say the Cardinals, the Giants, the Jets, like if you're a quarterback needy team, how much does that concern you?
Not enough. Not enough.
See, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Because I think if you get into the sport right now and you just saw the free agency pool that we had of quarterbacks, it's so hard to get one. And we just had another year of the NFL draft. Again, next year is always better, and I think it will be. And, you know, Arch Manning and Dante Moore. After that, I have no idea. So, like, you get into the quarterback and what's being drafted the last 2 years, like, again, this is where I keep coming back. I keep coming back to how many teams would bid a 2nd round pick, because how many teams would love to be in the position? I think of my team, the Saints. How many teams would be so excited to have Tyler Shuck right now? You know, how many? And that is the 40th overall pick. And so when you get into those like risk reward of it all, a 2nd round pick's a 2nd round pick, Ben. Right? Like it's not as detrimental as, you know, if the Cardinals bid their 1st round pick. That's likely the 3rd overall pick for Brendan Sorsby. So, like, there are teams that I can look at already and say, yeah, no chance. There's no chance that they're getting rid of their 1st round pick. But then you get into, like, is there a team arrogant enough in the back of the draft saying like, well, we're going to be good, but we want a contingency plan at this position, you know? It's just fascinating because I think I'm more weighing just like the rarity of the position now. Like there is just a deficiency at the position right now. And Sorsby, I remember going back to like Daniel Jeremiah in February was talking about his top 50. And he said, listen, no GM, none of these decision makers I talk to have said any other name for quarterback than Fernando Mendoza, who was in this draft. But they do like Brendan Sorsby. So there are people around the league that have talked Brendan Sorsby, know about Brendan Sorsby, like Brendan Sorsby, and again, I think it's just the position. Like if it was any other position, I'd be with you, right? But
yeah.
When you think about his ability and just the rarity, like if I'm the Buccaneers, how many teams we could do this game? How many teams would bid a second round pick right now just to have clarity at the position, just to say, hey, we have a plan? There's so many teams, right?
But that's the concern of it all for me, though. Is like I don't know, because I feel like there's so much unknown with it now too. Because like, is it?
But
simply
isn't that
just,
the point of the supplemental draft?
Well,
it's
of
not
course,
be
but like, yes, and I mean that is why it exists and everything, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like, do I want to give up my second round pick for a player that might be getting investigated by the FBI for playing swinging games? No, that doesn't sound fun.
So how is that any different
there.
than if I miss on a linebacker? You know what I'm saying? Because it's quarterback. If I get quarterback right, it is such a massive win for my organization. That's where I'm like, I push back. It's
well, because it's because it's not just a missed draft pick, right? Because now you're the organization that willingly brought in this kid who, like, you knew was doing stuff that you absolutely should not have been doing, and you were like, I'm gonna pay good draft capital. It's tough, but it goes back to the value of it, because like it is, you have the chance that if everything is clean and everything goes perfectly, and it's simply the biggest punishment he gets is he just doesn't have eligibility in the NCAA anymore. Yeah. Then it's perfect and it's great. But I mean that goes back to your point with that you never know with the supplemental draft, and that's the whole reason for it. It's scary. As maybe I don't have enough gumption, but as a team decision maker, I don't know if I'd be the team that'd be willing to do it. But that's I'm not having to fight between Jacoby Brissett and as my starting quarterback here. So
yeah, I mean that's what I keep coming back to with it. I think he's going to enter the supplemental draft. I'm officially at the point where early on I was pretty like, he'll get the slap on the wrist, right? Like this isn't as bad as I think. And then you read about it and you realize, like he's literally gambling under, someone else's name, and he's doing it across multiple states, and thousands and thousands of bets are being placed. But the kicker is like, you were a part of a roster and you bet on that game. That's just that's a killer. And so I think it's, again, I don't want to say it's easy to hand wave as an NFL team, but it's easy to hand wave and say, hey, he's just a kid, right? If we get him in our building and we really crack down on him, he's changed, right? Like he's done the rehab, and he's already going on that tour right now of, I'm a changed person, because he knows he's going in the supplemental draft. But I just keep coming back to, once this was released and I started thinking about the supplemental draft, it's like how many teams, because that's the other part of the supplement. If you bid a second, you do not have a second round pick in 2027. So, and you get the player, I should say, if you get the player as well. There would certainly be someone willing to, I think, bid a top 75 pick I'm talking like the Cardinals, Dolphins would bid their
Absolutely.
third round picks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how that operates. I think we have a month, like you said, until the supplemental draft. It usually happens like
Yeah, it's
mid to late summer.
players have so Brendan Sorsby has I think until June 22nd to officially submit his name into the draft. And then the draft actually occurs early to mid July. The dates are official, aren't official or anything yet. But I mean, we'll know in about a month and a half. So, and as you said, teams are very teams are overly confident in their ability to fix players. It's happened 1,000 times before. It'll happen 1,000 times over again, regardless of outcome, especially at the quarterback position. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of it all. That's for sure. So
Yeah, I'd put money on the Bucks. Sorry, I know.
that'd be
I know.
fun.
We shouldn't
I
be
would
talking
love-
about putting
I
money
would-
on things with Brendan Sorsby, but I think the Bucks with Baker with one last year, Bulls likely like just on the downslope. You could really reset this thing. Even if you're spending the second, you would still have your first round pick. It gives you that avenue to the quarterback of the future. Whether or not he's good, you get to figure it out. It's like my point with like Shuck. If Shuck isn't good, who cares? It's a second round pick. It does not cripple you. You're still able to draft Jordan Tyson. You're still able to draft Kelvin Banks. You're still able to draft these difference makers at positions that need difference makers. But you also get reap the rewards of a cheap contract in the second round.
Yeah. Hey, if you're the Rams, keep it going. Submit
Do
your
it
second
again.
round pick. Do it again. Run it back. It'll be great. One of them has to hit, right? So.
All right. We cycle into the schedule preview. We were going to do a draft, but missing our third co-host. I don't think a two-man draft would be great.
No.
But so I think this is just going to be you and I going back and forth, talking some games.
Yeah.
Sound good with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have it sectioned out as like your primetime games, which is a mix of division matchups and obviously primetime games, and then games that I think would just be overall fun to watch but might not be primetime. So
yeah. All right. So I'll start. I'll go with my number one game on my draft board in a sense. The Rams playing the Seahawks on Christmas Day might be has game of the year potential. When you think back to last year and the 3 games that they played the first one in Los Angeles, in which Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions. It was the beginning of the nickel personnel versus the 13 personnel and how that was going to match up. That was such a fun breakdown. Darnold then throws 4 interceptions. They lose on this walk-off 60-yard kick that they miss. Seattle does. Then they play the Thursday night football game in which the Seahawks come back from down 2 touchdowns. You pronounced them dead. I remember that. You pronounced them dead midway through the game.
Yeah.
And Seattle wins that one on the 2-point conversion, which also the 2-point conversion in which Zach Charbonnet just walks over and picks it up because it was technically a fumble. You remember that? That was another lost. And then the Super Bowl can be told that it was played where was the Super Bowl played? San Francisco this year? But it was played in Seattle between the Rams and Seahawks in the NFC Championship. And it was razor thin. It was this close. These two teams have the top odds this year. It's that primetime holiday special. Have we gotten a good Christmas game? That's another point of this. We had the Ravens Niners that had hype, where it was Lamar versus Purdy. That was the Purdy run.
Sure,
that was a stinker. Last year was just a ton of duds, ton of backup quarterbacks, right? The Lions lose to Brosmer. Bo Nix beats Chris Oladukin. It was just this ugh. But
It was a
And again,
stinker.
like there was a world where they were confident enough to get Broncos Chiefs, but I am as confident in a good matchup that determines seeding in the Rams and Seahawks on Christmas. Whether that's wild card seeding, whether that's for the division, it doesn't matter. I think these are the two best teams going into the season, and they'll play twice in 3 weeks to close the stretch.
No, absolutely. No, I think this is the perfect matchup. As you said, all 3 times that these two teams played each other last year were all like, I mean, just peak football watching experience. And now we just go ahead and lob that in on Christmas. You know, maybe there'll be a little bit of snow or something falling. It'll be
Yeah.
great. Is it in LA or is it? Hopefully, I didn't just put my foot in my mouth there. Is
It's
that
in Seattle.
LA
It's in
or
Seattle.
Yeah, it could be snow on the ground.
Yep.
Would you look at that? That would be that'd be so much fun. Yeah, I feel like that was a clear like 101. Like if we were doing the draft, like I don't know if it gets.
They're doing
much
the
better than
Eagles
that.
and Commanders thing again, though. That's my only fear. You know how like didn't the Commanders and Eagles play each other like twice in the final 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Yes.
And then
Yeah,
the
that
Commanders
was-
are bad, so it doesn't matter. Like that's my only
Yeah.
fear, but it does make this game feel even bigger to me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. See, I'm between 2 games here for like 102, if that's what we want to call it. I'm gonna go with like the in division matchup here. Week 17 Thursday night, Ravens versus Bengals, and specifically because like how often do we get a chance for like a single game to maybe possibly decide the division? Given it's not week 18, as we would have hoped. But I mean, you remember back 2 years ago when it was the Vikings and Lions, and it was like, okay, the winner of this game gets the first seed in the bye, and then the loser has to
Well, Raven
You know,
Steelers, you know?
yeah. So so this is why like and I think this game has the potential to do that, given it again it's week 17 and not week 18. But we don't often get a chance where like these two teams can both be very like high value teams that both in their own right think that they can win a Super Bowl, let alone the division. Played this late into the season, and I think the Ravens and Bengals can do that. And you never know what happens in this division. Like this division is just a dogfight. Like it's just every game. It's just like you toss your hands up and you say like I don't care if the Ravens are minus 450 against the Browns. The Browns are still going to manage to win this game somehow. Again, given the Ravens and Bengals, but it's again this game could be for the division. It's very late in the year. The only question is, and I hate to do this, is Joe Burrow going to be healthy for this game?
No, that's
Only
the first
time
question
will
I have.
tell. But so
No, I agree with you. I think that Ravens Bengals has delivered in the past. Delivered on Thanksgiving this year, delivered on Thursday Night Football a few years ago. What the Jamar Chase like 250-yard game. So
yes,
I'm with you. If we get the guys to play, right?
That's
That's
a good
the
question.
thing with Cincinnati. I'll go back to the top since we've kind of started with the end of the season. Let's get people pumped for the early part of the season. Buffalo plays Houston in week 1. Buffalo is a co-favorite to win the AFC this year, and Houston is kind of the team that, again, Houston's going under the radar. Just because of like I know why. The CJ Stroud game against New England is as pitiful as it gets.
It was horrific.
There's only like 2 teams who have made the divisional round in the last 3 years. The Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. And so you think about from that point of view, these are the teams that continue to be there in January. And how do they do it? Well, they start typically pretty well, right? It's the new look Buffalo Bills. What does Joe Brady look like as an actual, head coach? Again, does his team feel like the Buffalo Bills of the McDermott past, where they're just buttoned up and ready to go, right? It's easy to do that when you have Josh Allen. And then again, back to the Stroud point, like what does what is CJ Stroud? You know, I think there is a world where, like, his PR is as bad as it gets, right? It's as
an all-time
nightmare as
low.
it can be. I'm still firmly in the camp of, like, I'd still take him over probably half the league, right? Like, it's still
Yeah.
pretty hard to accomplish what he's accomplished in 3 years of starting quarterback. But this will be a pivotal game because one of them's got to start 0-1, right? Or we get the beautiful tie. But
Yeah.
likely someone
Yeah.
starts with a loss.
Yeah, so someone will start with a loss. No, it's going to be a fun, and hopefully this is a new look Bills offense. They added weapons going up against what will probably be the best defense in the NFL, at least the top 5 defense in the NFL. As you said, they're the two of some of the powerhouse contenders there. We'll see how it works out. I see you with the week 1, and I'm gonna one up you with my week 1 matchup. But we're gonna go all the way to the other side of the spectrum with that one. We're gonna do the Dolphins versus the Raiders, right? Just as you just said, someone has to win, or someone has to lose in the Bills and Texans game. Someone has to win in the Dolphins and Raiders game, and it's just it's always really, really fun to start the season with some of these teams that are considered very low ranking, just because you don't know what you're gonna get. We'll see. Does Mendoza start the season? Probably not. That'll be something that people are anxiously awaiting. What does this ragtag group of offensive pass catchers from the Dolphins look like? This is what I think will be just a horrific stink fest. And most of the time, if you guys have watched this podcast, over the last couple of years, this should be no surprise to anyone that I tend to just gravitate to these games. Most people are talking about the Bills and Texans, whereas I want to talk about Dolphins and Raiders because I think it's just as fun to watch bad football as it is good football.
Yeah, I keep looking at the Dolphins like starting receiver core, which again, like if you shouldn't, right? But it's fun to like try and predict who's going to be the top like receiving yards leader for this team in 2026.
Chris Bell.
Well, he's coming off the ACL.
I
so
don't
it's like,
care.
That's a pup. That's a pup guy if I've ever seen one. But from guys who aren't coming off, those tears. Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, Malik Washington, their 2 rookies, Caleb Douglas, Kevin Coleman, Terrace Marshall, Theo Weiss. That's what we're looking at right now.
That's what
Maybe
I'm
they
saying.
aside
from Bowers, do the Raiders have that much better of like a pass catching unit? Yeah. Like no. So it's just I don't know. It's gonna be fun. They both have really good running backs. We'll give them that. I mean, Genty and HN. Maybe
Is
both
Genty
of them will just run
good?
for 200. Is he good? We'll
Is
see.
Genty good? Next on First Take.
Yeah.
This is on brand for you with one of your first talking points that you could have for the games this year. You said I got to get to the Raiders and Dolphins game. Let me see here. Again, I have a whole list. It's kind of just where I want to go.
That's just jumbled too.
Again, that's the other thing is there's just a million really good primetime games this year. So I think from that point of view, I know people are very like sanctity of Sundays and we need good matchups on Sundays. I love standalone football games. There is nothing I love more than everybody watching this same exact game and there's nothing else going on. So we'll stick with that. We'll go with a little Monday Night Football, middle of the season, Week 10, Chargers, Ravens. This is the opposite of Buffalo, Houston. This is kind of a checkup. This is kind of the what's the temperature on Chargers and Ravens. Again, it's not the Harbaugh Bowl this year with John going to the Giants, but you get in the middle of the year, it is still Jesse Minter against the Chargers. So there is that, like, what is it, mentor versus protege kind of thing. But more so the teams, again, Baltimore is a part of that class with Buffalo where it's a new coach, but they're still, just because they have the quarterback, right? So they're still at the top of the conference for the odds and things like that. Middle of the season, week 10, to me, it's just kind of like, let's check in on both of these teams, right? What is the temperature looking on two teams who are each top 8 in Super Bowl odds? Did you know that, Ben? So, like, you just think about, like, the expectation for these teams, even if, maybe public perception wouldn't have these two teams as high as that. But I'm interested to see, because one of them could easily be 4-5, and I wouldn't be stunned.
No, absolutely. Well, and this game is really fun, and I mean you touched on different aspects of it, but this game is really fun simply because the aspect of when we look at the Chargers coordinators, all of the talk all offseason has been about Mike and how the Chargers have been able to get him, and what does he bring to the the offense, and how can he help Herbert and everything. But, like, it's just kind of been swept under the rug a little bit that, like, okay, yeah, Minter's gone. And, like, that's tough because Minter, like, even if you didn't have good players, Minter was going to have your defense running very, very well. Yep. And obviously, again, he's gone. Now you're going to be playing him in this matchup. What does Chris O'Leary have? We don't know.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that for that reason adds a really fun added layer that people just, for some reason or another, just, like, I think aren't talking enough about specifically with the Chargers. So
that was my point a few weeks ago when we talked about, like, winners and losers, where it's like I can like everything the Chargers did on offense just because I think, again, they're just hedging their bets on, like, can we just get a workable offensive line and we'll be one of the 5 best offenses, right? Well, if we elevate from, like, the 12th best offense to 5th best offense, great. What happens when we go from the 8th best defense to middle of the pack, or even worse, right? Yeah. Is that a big enough adjustment to keep us in this Super Bowl window? Because, again, they have not won the division. I mean, the Broncos were a wagon last year, but they were the 7 seed, and then the 5 seed, they got blown out in both games. It was never close in either game. It's just, again, I think the perception of the Chargers is interesting because if we see another Jim Harbaugh, it's 10-7, 6 seed, losing the first round. Like, again, I'm getting ahead of myself thinking about that, but just from the state of this game, there could be some pressure seats if either team is 4-5, or it could be a game where they're both like 7-2, right? And I wouldn't bat an eye. And it's the best defense against the best offense, and there's actual history there.
Yeah. Who knows? You actually teed me up very, very well for my next matchup here, though. Week 6, Thursday Night Football, Seahawks versus Broncos. You had already talked about the Seahawks of it all, but the Broncos are like this team that we just like kind of forget about a little bit because of everything how it played out with Bo Nix as shattered his leg basically, but like. This very well could have been like the actual Super Bowl matchup. Who knows? Yep. Again, obviously, Bo Nix goes down. Jarrett Stidham, that's all she wrote. But like this was the matchup that everyone was looking for, and I think this can be a true measuring stick game for the Broncos specifically. And be like, okay, like people aren't talking enough about us. We were a very, very dominant team rolling into the playoffs, and we had actually showed that. And then this tragic incident happened. Can we get back to this? Can we get people to start talking about us again as if we are this dominant team? And again, can we keep this game close against the Seahawks? Can we be like, okay, look, we should have won that game? Obviously, hard to say. But again, I feel like this is going to be a true measuring stick game for the Broncos. And again, there's going to be that added, storyline to what could have been the Super Bowl matchup if Bo Nix stayed healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is there any injury like that is one of those moments I cannot believe that it's been like swept under the rug as much as it has. Like
Yeah.
the Denver Broncos were going to play a home playoff game to determine if they go to the Super Bowl, and the reason their starting quarterback did not play is because on like a basically kneel down play where they're running clock, he broke his ankle. Like you just like this insane catastrophe. If this is any other team, right? It's this catastrophe. We never forget it. Like if this happens to the Cowboys, right? This is never
Yeah.
lost on history. And so like for the Broncos to feel like again, and it's Denver, right? They have this lightning in a bottle defense. It's like, are they ever going to be back there again, right? So it'll be fascinating. And then you mentioned it from Seattle's side. I think everybody's just going to come at Seattle in a way that you just do when a team wins the title, right? Philly
Yeah.
felt it this year. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Speaking of Philly, I did that for a tease. We have been talking a lot of AFC. Let's switch it over to the NFC. Rams Eagles, week 4. This is kind of on my list just because of the incredible finish that we had last year with Jordan Davis blocking the field goal after this massive comeback early in the season. The only thing is, that was the best game of A.J. Brown's season. He's not going to be on this team this year. So I think that is a fun little, is the Rams killer enough? Like him being gone, does that add an element to it where Philly maybe struggles? Who knows? But no, I just wanted to throw this one in there just because that was one of the elite games of last year. And it's a Sunday 12 o'clock game. So for all the people that are very, sanctity of the Sundays, that is another Sunday noon game.
Yeah, well, and like it's funny to look at this matchup throughout history because this team and another team in the division for the Eagles has like turned into like this very strong like budding rivalry, and like by all accounts, the Rams are just the better team. But throughout the last couple of years, the Eagles own them. Like they just like the Eagles have the Rams number. And the Rams just for some reason or another, by just sheer luck this past year, obviously, have not been able to beat the Eagles. Is this the year that the Rams may be able to get that monkey off their back? I don't know. As you said, they'll have the added benefit of not having to deal with A.J. Brown this year. Who knows? Maybe A.J. Brown is a Ram. That's something that was floated out there. Rams are in on him. Boy, would that be just catastrophic for my mental health. But it's.
I don't think they can make that trade.
Nah.
I think he has to be AFC, right?
Yeah. I'll take Puka. I'll trade you straight up for Puka if that's what you want to do. But
Ooh, there we go. I mean, Puka's got some off the field stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, two diva receivers going at it, but we're resetting the extension clock, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Did you say it? It's food for thought. We'll keep it in division with one of these teams, and we'll actually just bump it back to the exact same week 6. Their primetime matchups this week are great. As I said, Thursday night football is that Seahawks Broncos game, but Sunday night football that week is Packers Cowboys. The reason I highlight that game specifically,
the greatest game ever played last year.
But like this, Micah Parsons will probably miss the first part of the season. His timetable is the first quarter of the season is what he said, or what the Packers say. So week 6 very well could be his first game back. How fun would that be?
So I'll rebuttal. Do you know who they play the week prior?
Is it the Bears?
Chicago at home.
Yeah. So, but like I wouldn't. yeah. Of course it is. But like I don't leave it up. Like I don't run it past Mike Parsons to just like have such like bad blood in his mouth still. Like it's like so even if it's not his first game, it's the second game back. Like this is just going to be a game every 4 years or whatever it is at the bare minimum that he's going to circle on his calendar, that he's going to be like, I'm going to want to play these guys. Can it be more fun than last year? That's what I'm begging and asking for. So, but his return could be fun.
That game, I had never, like, I don't want to say it was the most euphoric football game, but I was like giggling to myself watching that game. I had so much fun watching that game. And it helps that I love and adore both quarterbacks, and they were both playing like out of their mind on national television. But to end it where like we get the finish of like Micah stops Dak on the goal line, right? They kick a field goal, and then the Packers almost fumble the field goal. They almost fumble the tie because they're trying to play for this, like, we want to win at the buzzer mentality. So they have to settle for the field goal and kick for the tie, and they do. And I want to say the tie got them in, right? At 9-7-1, because Minnesota and Detroit both were 9-8. So I think there's, again, we don't get many ties. So when you get a tie and it's a 40-40 tie in which both offenses are electric. Dak had one throw down the right seam to Jalen Tolbert where he toe tapped. Jesus, man, I gotta go back. Maybe I have to go back and watch that game this year.
Watch the whole game, and that's what I'm saying. It was such a fun game. And like, can we get that added on top of like that maybe being Micah's first game back of the season?
Yeah. It was not the best game, but it was my favorite game. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was such a good game. Seahawks Rams. Favorite game, best game. What can I say?
Yeah, but like that's the NFC title game, right? Like it's kind of a cop out. Favorite regular season.
Yeah.
Cop out answer. All right, I'll do it. I'll take the chalk. Kansas City plays Buffalo on Thanksgiving this year. That's always a game that I think just everybody gets up for and everybody's ready for and everybody's amped for, right? You just get the Mahomes, Allen, and Buffalo always wins in the regular season, and then they don't in the postseason, right? So does this game even matter? You could argue that to me, and I could understand that statement, but we still don't get many of – it's still like every time Peyton and Brady faced each other, right? There is this level of just energy to it, and to add it to Thanksgiving, to add it to the prime time of Thanksgiving, I think is just another element. The other two games are division games on that day. Like, I think the Cowboys play Philly and the Bears play the Lions. But this one might even have as much animosity as
I was going to say it might have more.
Yeah. And so Buffalo's new stadium as well. Like, I think that's another part of this. I know, like, it's later in the year, so it'll be going. But does that have an effect? I don't know. That sounds silly to say out loud, but who knows? But that's always a game that I think just needs to be mentioned when we do these.
Yeah. Hey, maybe the Bills should try to lose this game so they can win in the playoffs against them the second time through.
It's a great thought. Let's just punt on this one. Do what they do for Allen, like week 18. They have him play the one snap and then they run him off the field. They're like, we're not going to show our hand. We're just going to let him have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're going to. Well, New England just played in the Super Bowl. I was just about to say, well, they're going to win the division easily, but I can't say that anymore, huh?
No, you can't. So, Matt, you're kind of on a roll, just kind of setting me up perfectly for this one. One of my last two, in this primetime slot, and this is like the actual like last good game that I have here, is Patriots versus Chiefs. so you're kind of just like on an absolute roll here. But for like literally the exact reason that you just like left it off at. But Mahomes versus Drake May, like these two like are arguably like two of like the 5 biggest quarterback names in all of the NFL right now. Again, these are two teams that are viewed as legit contenders, playing obviously this late into the year. And then, as you just said, this has like very real ramifications for the Patriots within their division because they have the head-to-head, obviously, with the Bills. If the Bills wins, that puts more pressure on the Patriots here in this situation. And overall, I just think it's going to be really, really good. And obviously, completely different regime now. But, you have this kind of current slash semi-current dynasty versus the dynasty of old clashing against each other. It's just it all comes together to create a perfect Monday Night Football.
Everybody comes together to just get angry, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just everyone throwing tomatoes. Like, can we hope for a tie here? Can both?
We hate both of you. I'll stay on the New England primetime kick here. We haven't talked much New England. They just played in the Super Bowl. New England, Chicago, Week 7, Thursday Night Football. Anybody? You think about just two quarterbacks who are completely on the rise and just super white hot, right? From the trajectory, and you think about just Ben Johnson versus this New England defense. This New England defense down the back half of last season felt, unhittable, and Ben Johnson is already, after one season as a head coach. I know he's been a play caller for multiple years. Like, he's already one of the 3 best play callers in the sport. So again, just that chess match on, again, a Thursday Night Football. I know I've talked a lot of primetime, but there's just so much fun to me of standalone football games. I can't mention that enough. And so to get the narrative of May versus Williams, did the Bears make the right decision? That could be a take. That could be a first take segment. There we go.
It could be a first take segment.
But just overall, I think the football would be good.
Yes. Good teams too that are basically on the same timeline here, right? With obviously a lot of it having to do with the quarterback and the age and everything. But two teams on the same timeline, and in the same spot.
I'll be mean. Two teams who are kind of staring at the face of possible regression.
Yeah, very, very, very well. So it'll be good. I'll move on to my final primetime matchup that I have here. I was really trying to hold it off for you here, but there were just better games to talk about. I picked this game not because it's actually going to be a good football game, but because it's just going to be really, really fun. Week 7, Saints versus, Steelers versus Saints. Pick this game because it's going to be played in Saint Denis in Paris. It'll be the first Paris game, so that is why it's here. That's the only reason why it's here. Football, who cares? Not me. But it being international. Oh, the camera's going out here, guys. But it's just going to be really, really fun. The more that they add these international games, the more that they expand across borders and everything, the more exciting it becomes. And it's always fun when they go over overseas there.
Yeah, the Saints lose a home game. Thrilled about it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm excited. I love that we get to play Rodgers in his last season. That's just fun to think about. Just from a little, just for me, I guess. But no, to see the Saints. The Saints didn't have any primetime games last year. They have 2 standalone games this year.
Yep.
Let's see. Where do we want to go now? I can kind of rattle off some that I have in here.
Yeah, I have other games as well. It's just no primetime. But if you want to rattle off some primetime games, for sure.
I have 3 games that are kind of in the same tier, where again they're kind of under the under the radar. Like, we're not thinking about them now, but they're gonna happen, and you're gonna go, "Oh, that was fun." Tampa Bay and Detroit, Week 11. The Tampa Bay kind of owns Detroit in Ford Field. over the last few years, except Detroit gets the last laugh because they beat them in the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah.
So there is that energy. The Titans and Raiders play each other in Week 16, the battle of the two number one overall picks, the last two. So I think about, just that doesn't happen often, or if it does, let me know how many times it's happened. So that's just a fun little, get you in the door. And then Saints Giants. I think there's legit animosity between fan bases, between who's better, Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart, and they get to play each other again. So that's fun because they didn't play each other. Like the Giants played the Saints last year, and Jackson Dart was kind of the reason they lost. But again, he was a rookie. So that game is Week 6. So that's a fun little inflection point. Like, are the Saints? Both of these teams are kind of just upward trajectory. Both with Harbaugh as the Giants coach, Saints. Could they be an intriguing, top 10 offense candidate? It'll be interesting to see where these teams look in Week 6. But those are three to just little rattle off there.
Yeah, 3 very, very good games. That Titans Raiders game is something that just slipped my mind. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll see what comes from it. We'll get into my first non-primetime game, and it's in Week 2. So in Week 17, I talked about Ravens versus Bengals, and we're all scared, but is Joe Burrow going to be healthy? Well, Week 2 is the Bengals versus Texans, and this is the antithesis of offense versus defense, and which is better, right? Joe Burrow, if you're not playing in this game, now we actually have to start having questions.
He got hurt in Week 2 last year.
I know. It's gracious. But I picked this game because, again, it is the antithesis of offense versus defense. And is just this unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Which one wins? This great defense in the Texans versus this very prolific offense when everyone is healthy. And again, we don't have to worry about everyone being healthy because it's Week 2. Everyone should be healthy. I should knock on wood right now. But I just thought, again, it doesn't really get much better in terms of an offense versus defensive matchup.
T. Higgins versus Kamari Lassiter in a phone booth battle is just that's getting me itchy right now. That's getting me so excited to think about.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're 5 months away. Yeah. Let's see here. Do I have a team on here? I haven't. I have some teams left. I've kind of mentioned all these teams. I'll stay on Week 2. Jacksonville plays Denver. Denver, we talked about Denver being they were red hot to close the season last year. Outside of the only team post Week 2 or Week 3. Yeah, that post-Chargers game, Week 3, that beat Bo Nix, healthy Denver Broncos team, was the Jaguars. Remember, that was one of the Parker Washington games. One of them, as I mentioned. He kind of broke out a little bit. But playing that game early, that's another one where we won't know initially if it determines series, things like that, but seeding, but I think it's a game that we have, that benefit of the doubt of last year, it being very, very important and having a major impact, even if they didn't play in the playoffs. Denver's only loss was to that Jacksonville team down the stretch. So maybe they have their number.
Yeah, maybe. No, well, in Jacksonville, again, they had that weird spurt last year where they were just very bad, and then out of kind of nowhere became very good for just a weird stretch of
they were another one they didn't lose from that stretch where they blew it against Houston, right? Remember when they had that that just catastrophic Houston choke? I don't think they lost again until late December.
Yeah, they just went on a crazy tear, so it'll be fun. We'll move on to two teams we definitely haven't talked about. Week 5. In the same ilk of the Dolphins Raiders, Browns versus Jets. It'll be fun. These are like two teams that, like, when you look at
You're
their
sick,
roster.
dude.
No, but like realistically, what these are two teams. When you look at their roster, like, you could convince yourself that they have things going for them, and then you're like, oh
Yeah.
wait, like it's Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders and Tyrod Taylor. So it's tough, but this will be really fun because again, there's a lot of players to actually like on these rosters. Much compared to Dolphins and Raiders, there's pieces that you can actually get yourself convinced and juiced about. Aside from the quarterback conversation, is this the Arch Manning Bowl in Week 5? Like, is like the winner of this team or the loser, I guess, versus the Dolphins and Cardinals? Like, that's who's going to be in the running for Arch Manning here. But this leads me to a question. I think it was, shout out to another podcast, the Stock Exchange. Or no, it was, I think the NFL SE guys there. Same podcast, Athletic Show. If you were Arch Manning, would you rather be the quarterback for the Jets or the quarterback for the Browns? Like, do you want to be the person that saves football in Cleveland, or do you want to be Mr. Football in New York?
I want to go to the better football team, and I think it's the Jets. Like, what's my better situation? I think that offensive line is awesome.
Yeah, but they have the Browns have like fun pieces. Like this time next year, we could look back on that and we could be like, wow, like Harold Fannin is a very good tight end, and Denzel Boston and KCC both like hit and turned into very good players. And like
we could do the same thing for New York,
yourself.
right?
No, of course, but it's just I think it's a fun conversation to have. Both head coaches, like both of these guys could be gone. We don't even know what the head coach's situation looks like for either of these teams. 365 days. But it's fun. And again, I think both teams that are maybe shoved under the rug a little bit at first sight, but when you actually look at the roster, there's some talent on both these teams to be excited about, aside from the quarterback position. So, and again, Deshaun Watson resurgence, like this might happen. It makes me like want to vomit.
No,
but like it genuinely might.
Why
happen.
did they get a resurge to 6 effing wins? Like
better than Shedeur Sanders.
We'll see. My big thing, like looking back at the Jets, I know it's probably an ownership thing more so than anything else, and he's getting like a bunch of money from Oregon, but like Dante Moore skipping out of the draft because he didn't want to go to the Jets is crazy to me.
Did not want to be a Jet.
When you think about like you could dictate the offensive structure, you could kind of like what you wanted it to look like because you're going to be around. Aaron Glenn's kind of on the hot seat already after one season, just at how like dysfunctional it looked. They picked Cooper and Sadiq in the first round anyway, so like that pick would have still been there. I know they take an edge rusher now that maybe you're losing Cooper. That pick becomes Falk. I don't know, like example. But you think about that offensive line and that structure of like Garrett Wilson and these interesting pass catchers, these picks that they've used. They have a ton of picks next year to where if they wanted to be an AJ Brown team because they got Dante Moore, they could do it. Thinking about it. So like I was thinking about that the other day because I watched him a few days ago. He was well worth the first overall pick as well. Like he was that good.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt he would have gone second. And so that's crazy to think a kid like bypassed the second overall pick when there's a draft class where it's like, if he did it because there was like a lot of question mark, and I'm not saying Arch Manning isn't a question mark, but like there is hype and justified hype for Arch Manning being the first overall pick next year, right?
Yes.
And so for him to do that is kind of nuts to me. I wonder what that Oregon check looks like, because they lost Will Stein as well. Little
he wants to be the
football
savior.
tangent.
He wants to be the savior in Eugene, though, right? Like how much.
Yeah,
you're now the big guy on campus. If you can go back, you can win. If you can win a national championship, you know your name is going to go
great,
down in
dude.
history.
Call up Drew.
But,
Call up Drew Aller and ask him how that worked. Like, right?
but,
You know,
but see,
I hate to be
that's my
cynical.
point. That's my point, right? And like I would, and I think I said it the moment that he went back. Like I would love to like look back on the history of guys that like probably should have came out when when their stock was at an all time high, and decided to not and say no, we're gonna like even Grant Nussmeier of it all. Like not that he would have been a first round pick, but like he could have went
He
out
wouldn't
and he
been
could have been
seventh.
drafted and now he's so it's just it's an interesting choice, and I think history tends to float towards you probably should have come out rather than go back. But again, if you're the guy who saves football in Eugene, then it doesn't matter. But we'll see. I think there's a lot in the air, and I think it was dumb, but now we're talking about
but like
football.
like Oregon is the one place that it's like, yeah, there's a check coming in that's like comparative to the NFL, right? Like that's the only thing because that's
Oregon,
why you
Texas,
come out.
Texas,
That's why you do a
yeah.
draft. That's why like NBA players go into the draft. It's you want to start that clock for a massive extension 1 year early. I get it. It's just again, I'm a college football fan, so I'm really excited to see Dante Moore come back and see what he can get better at. But it's still crazy to me that like a guy who would have been the second overall pick. I have no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
We'll do one or two more each, if that's all good with you.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Washington, Monday Night Football, Week 11. That was on here. Just when you throw in, again, the cross our fingers, hopefully Joe Burrow's healthy, right? But you think back to the Daniels arriving party. Like, Jaden Daniels is still a quarterback, guys. Like, I know it's kind of lost upon us, like, but just how good he was that rookie year. If he can avoid the injuries, he's going to be in a more buttoned up, like, professional offense with David Blau. I have high hopes for that offense this year. Just like how good Daniels was down that back half of his rookie season. I really think that if you get him in a sustaining offense, and this could be one of those games where it's a shootout and we get reminded of that Daniels game where he makes that play to McLaurin down the sideline. Like, it's on Monday Night Football. The aesthetics of it, I think, intrigue me, and just the two LSU quarterbacks going at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Week 12, a team that we have yet to talk about, Colts versus Giants, right? The Colts were a team that was like on an absolute tear before it just catastrophically collapsed on themselves. But like they were like this team that just like came out of nowhere last season, and then obviously everything happened with Daniel Jones. But so it's just fun to see where the Colts are going to be at week 12. You're 2/3 of the way through the season at this point. But then you add to like the Daniel Jones revenge game, which is like so funny to like actually say out loud. But like this like very well like could be a thing.
Counter. They gave him the extension. Is there revenge on the mind of Daniel Jones? Like the Giants. The Giants gave him the extension that 1 year. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? I know they cut him, but
yeah. But it's fun because again the Colts are just going to be a team that like I don't know, in a year from now even we're going to like just forget how good of a football team they were when everyone was healthy last year, because they were they were the talk of the town last year with how well they were playing. And then again, Daniel Jones gets hurt. Again, that's all she wrote. Can the Colts get back to that point? Because, I remember, we've talked about the Broncos enough here, but like, I remember you being like, we'll see Daniel Jones when he's like, plays real defense, the Broncos. But then like actually like balled out in that Broncos game and was like very good. So like what Daniel Jones are we even getting this year? Are we getting, extension Daniel Jones, or are we getting Daniel Jones playing on a 1-year contract to prove that he's still that guy? And it's just this Colts team is going to be very fascinating.
all right, my final one This one is a little manifestation, Ben. This is where we got to get creative, right? Week 18, we always have a game. One team's in and one team's out. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans for the division. Sunday Night Football. Get ready, everybody. All right? Get ready for the cinema. All right? When the Superdome is buzzing and we welcome Baker Mayfield, my personal enemy. And the winner is going to win the division. The loser is going to be out. And yeah, that I got to get creative, right? We always have a Week 18 game. That means something.
Yes.
So why not do it with a division that needs a little spotlight? It needs a little sponsor to it, a little spice, if you may. Look at some of the Week 18 games. It's really hard to find a game that's like
It's tough.
that
It's
one
tough.
will be. Like maybe it's Chargers, Broncos, right? But yeah, like I was hoping we would get Buffalo, New England for one of those, but we don't. But that's my final game. Throw out a little Saints homerism, and
That's so much more fun. And mine is ironically a Saints game as well. Mine's Week 5.
who's that? I mean, the Saints are America's team. You know, it's just
Yeah, exactly.
Tyler
yeah.
Shuck is America's quarterback.
Well, see, there you go. That's why I picked Week 5. Vikings versus Saints. Week 5, we're a quarter of the way through the season. It'll be a good check-in. Again, this will be a good litmus test for Tyler Shuck against the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense is always just throwing just the most wild, crazy stuff at you. How does Tyler Shuck hold up against it? And again, we're a quarter of the way through the season. Maybe we have a little bit more of a defined opinion on him. Jury's still out. And maybe we'll be leaving this game saying, oh my gosh, we just watched the best current Texas Tech quarterback play football. But I digress.
You mean Oregon and Louisville quarterback? Move over
No,
Justin Herbert
no.
and Lamar.
Tyler, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Tyler Shuck is going to be the best quarterback that comes from Texas Tech and and Oregon and Louisville. Mahomes who, Lamar who, Justin Herbert who, meet Tyler Shuck, buddy. He just walked in. He's going to frame mog you. Get out of here.
And you think about it, like when we do a jersey swap at the end of the game, Tyler Shuck next to Kyler Murray, that's mogging. That's what
frame
mogging looks like. So yeah. But no more? You got like one last throw out? No?
No. That's it. Off topic from
Well,
this.
we didn't mention the game you liked. It probably sucks. I'm sorry.
Yep. It's not going to be good. It's
not
gonna
that
be
good.
Bad.
It's
Not
probably
even
not
worth
good.
watching, honestly. So
Am I gonna watch it? No, probably not.
No, definitely not. Completely unrelated. OTAs for many teams, either OTAs starting this week or OTAs had started last week for you. Big thing is OTAs are happening for the Vikings. I'm very sadistically watching what is going on at OTAs for this. I'm still so
For who?
I can't quit. The Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't quit. Come on. I can't quit. And he's looking
Yeah.
good. He's looking good. He's looking better than Kyler Murray.
Oh, it's great. Like, it's so easy to look good when you were the worst quarterback in football.
He looks better than Kyler Murray. That's all that matters. He just has to win the job. He just has to win it.
Is this heightest?
No. But it
It's
could be.
not?
Maybe a little.
I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe a little.
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, jeez.
All right. Do
Yeah,
you want to do Weddle
toss you
quickly
up.
or no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We can't skip out on that just because Ryan's gone.
Let me cue Weddle.
Yeah,
You know what we got to
yeah.
do for one of these
Do this
like
here.
episodes? Because we're in downtime. We got to do like a Weddle Unlimited, you and I.
Oh, I love that.
That'd be something, right? See
That'd
what
be
we can
something. That'd be something.
do. All right. Can you see?
I can't see. You know, our lovely video listeners can't see my eyeballs because of my
All right.
glasses, but I digress.
Future. Where is he going? Is he Patriot in this universe? We should just start saying
Yeah.
new teams until he's traded.
Rams. He's Saint. He's a Saint. AJ Brown.
Future New Orleans Saint AJ Brown.
Future New Orleans Saint.
Oh, that's why it's a dot.
Here's a period at the end of it, buddy.
Yeah, sorry. He's a receiver. He's in the NFC.
He's a receiver in the NFC.
He's 26 or 27. We're not even close on the number.
No. So he's an 80s guy.
Well, he could be. Yeah, wait. I'm thinking. Got to go through divisions. What number? No, wait.
I was gonna say he could be 17, but no, that wouldn't work out because of the age.
Yeah. I was gonna say
North.
Christian Watson. But that's not the number.
No, I was gonna say Amon Ra, but the height doesn't work there.
I'm gonna say Watson just so we get little. Yeah. Okay. So he is 26.
Okay. So he's either in the
in the
south
north.
or west. No, not in the Seahawks. Fits. Ricky Pearsall's not that old.
He might be. No, but he's number 1.
But he's not that tall.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson?
That's where I'm going? Yeah.
There we go. I'm like, I know he's just like a weird teens number. Like, I don't know, like 15, 16, 14 ended up being right, but.
Yeah. All right. Shout out Ryan.
No. Gervon.
Is he not here?
What?
He's gone.
Ryan would be in shambles.
Wait. Am I spelling it wrong? Let's
No,
scroll
no.
down here. He's gone. We missed it. We missed Gervon Dexter Day. Right? It's
Yeah, he's gone. It's GER
they
VON.
erased it. Gervon Dexter is gone. Rest in peace.
Ryan's
Not
in
actually-
shambles. We'll have
not
to
actually gone.
pass it
I
on to
can't
him.
believe that. That's crazy. They took him out. He's still a player. He's still
Yeah.
playing.
News to me.
This is nuts. All right, I'm gonna type in some random letters. Joe Tooney. Nope.
I mean, you couldn't give me.
I gave you a lot.
anything.
I gave you defense in the
A
AFC.
defensive player in the
Figure it
AFC. Maybe
Probably a
younger?
corner. Figure it out.
Probably a corner. Is Delane in here? Is Mansour Delane in here already?
Yeah. Do you want to guess?
Let's go. Yeah.
Not a DB. Look at the middle, the height, the age, and the number. Oh, it's a kicker.
Oh, it is a kicker.
Oh no. It's OTA season. They're making us guess a kicker, Ben.
Oh, I know exactly who it is.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah, I do.
Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's Evan McPherson, buddy.
Damn it. So you're guessing? It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's a punter. What?
Oh my god,
Oh my god, it's a punter. I know one punter.
dude, I can't. I don't know. Is Ryan Stonehouse still in the league?
No. I know one. I know Yes! I stole your pick, but I don't care.
What's up?
I got the punter right.
I wouldn't have.
Michigan
I
State
wouldn't have,
legend.
gotten it. Yeah.
Yes.
What? New England, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
He was a Pro Bowl. He was a Pro Bowler.
I know. That's just.
Let's go.
Where's Griffin Dexter at? And why the fuck
He's
are
gone.
you? Pardon my. I don't care. I don't care for the 6 people watching live. I don't care. I'm an hour and 20 minutes in. I'm gonna curse if I want to. Why the fuck are you having us guest punters? In OTAs.
Sore
fuck
loser.
you.
Blame
So,
the refs,
yeah,
buddy. Blame the refs.
Yeah,
I
you
fell
better watch
down
out. I'm gonna sick my goons on your.
Did you see the Stephon
nail-painted
Castle quote?
fingers.
That was crazy.
What?
Do you see the Stephon Castle quote when he went to the media after Victor skipped out? He was like,
No.
we don't get the same luxury to play physical
Oh, I
on both
did.
ends as they do. I was like, dude, this the LeBron, not you. You cannot be saying this.
Not you.
Stephon Castle could be fouled out in the first half of every basketball game.
Yeah, hey, buddy, you better watch out. I'm going to sick my 7'1" goon on you, and you with your painted nails, because I'm mad at you.
Dude, I'm dead ass. I'm gonna be so bummed if they lose this. I'm actually at the point where it was like at the beginning I was like, this will be cool. This is just gonna be a fun series. Like I'm officially at I'm gonna be super bummed out if they don't win. I'm gonna be unconsolable until the finals start.
we talked about it. This recent matchup gave me my favorite moment. Again, when J-Dub is on the bench screaming at Jared McCain, he's like, "Don't touch the ball! Don't touch the ball! Stop touching the basketball! Sit in the corner! Don't touch it! Stop it!"
J-Dub was all business, dude. Did you see? He was just in the little Thunder hoodie. He wasn't in a fit. He wasn't in his fit. He was all business.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I liked that. But
Yeah.
no, do we
He's
have
here
anything
for it.
else to close this?
No. Hopefully, this time next week, we'll be talking about a resolution to AJ Brown. Not hoping for any
I don't
specific
think
resolution.
could you imagine if Schefter midnight June 1st it's done. That could be the funniest thing.
That'd be great. I want it to be done. Whatever the outcome is, I'm just sick of it.
I think
want it to be
the
done.
benefit to you is that the Vrabel story the story took that. That story took off too.
Oh my gosh. It flew.
Which again, that story got way too weird, way too fast for me, but I think it's kind of helped that AJ Brown is what is it? He's getting married in Boston. He's looking at schools in Boston. It's hilarious.
He worked with a townhouse construction person in Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he posted something on his Instagram the other week at a plant nursery in Boston.
How do we get a 3-team trade to where because you saw the Josh Sweat trade buzz, right? 3-team trade.
Oh, I'll one up you. Did you see the Albert Breer Myles Garrett buzz to the Eagles?
That's fake.
Yeah, of course it is. So that's the other thing. Really quickly,
That's my thing. That's what I do now. If I see a report I don't agree with, I just say that's fake.
That's the other thing. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to even say his
AI.
name. Not that we have motion for this. Anyways, one specific Eagles beat reporter, Matt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You tweeted out today that if the Cardinals came up to the Eagles and offered them Nolan Smith for Josh Sweat straight up, the Eagles shouldn't do it. That
What?
shit pissed me off so much. I've never
guys
been
think-
more
what do you guys
livid
think
at
Nolan
8
Smith
o'clock
is at this
in
point?
the morning. Nothing. I'm going to practice self-control. I'm going to say something I shouldn't have said on the internet.
Oh no, I'm gonna lose my undersized edge setter. Oh God, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. I don't get it. Jalix Hunt is the starting edge, which, man, how is that? That story doesn't get talked about enough, by the way. Yeah, Houston Christian safety turned edge is now a very good. Who cares? We're babbling. We will see you guys next week.
We're
I realized that the time is still
All right.
ticking. I looked to the top left and realized that we're still live.
well, this is what,
just a
this is
peek
what
of
people
what
tune
this
for
show-
in the off season.
Yes,
what people
yes,
tune
yes.
in
This
for.
is a peek behind the curtain. This is what post show looks like for us. We just sit here for another 30 minutes and just talk.
All right, chat, subscribe, like,
Yes.
come back next week.
Yep.
No guarantee it'll be on Wednesday due to the finals.
Yep.
But we still there's still like 2 plans I really want to do this year.
Yep.
And I know Ryan's not here, but like quarterback rankings was my most fun. And I
Yes.
want to get angry this year. Like I have some quarterback takes. I didn't get angry enough last year. I'm honest about that. I was going through that. I let you guys bully me about some players that I really really like. And I'm
Okay.
gonna come back. And then
Please.
number 2, that's the Super Bowl draft. Because we
That'd
talked
be so
about
much
this. We talked about this. Nobody's good. All right. Nobody is
bad.
like guaranteed good.
Garbage.
Everybody's bad. And
No one's
so
winning the
I
Super
feel like
Bowl.
we would get to pick like 6 and be like, I have no idea. And like
The Super Bowl's gonna end in time.
it'd be electric.
Yeah. No,
Ends in a tie. Banger.
Yeah, it's gonna end in a 0-0 tie. Everyone's bad. No one's good. No, still a lot of off season in front of us. But as Matt said, yeah, he's in the kitchen whipping up ideas. We'll inevitably get to actual, team specific, division specific schedule breakdowns. But that's for another day. No time in the relatively close future. But it was a treat, Matt. It's we always ramble. It's just the 2 of us, but it's always a treat.
All right. I'm closing it out. Shout out OKC.